it.
Hello and welcome to Political Platform. My name is Ait Political. Has the door been opened for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to rejoin the PDP? Well, the state chapter of the PDP in Adamawa State has indeed asked the former Vice President to come back to the party he helped to found. Of course, it is long expected if you ask many Nigerians. It was drama at the Senate yesterday when the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, went in company of his lawyer to answer to questions posed to him by a Senate committee, but he told them that he only came out of respect to the senators and for the Senate as an institution, but not to answer their questions. And it was a reconciliatory mood at the State House Abuja yesterday before the Federal Executive Council meeting. Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, and Head of Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoeta, were all hugs and smiles as the cameras clicked away. Of course, they said it was not a quarrel. So if it's not a quarrel, why the reconciliation? Kayode Fayemi may indeed leave the Federal Executive Council soon, according to reports we are getting. Of course, some national dailies had come out with reports that he's set to resign to pave way for his participation in the state governorship election scheduled for July 2018, but there are some deniers. I'll be giving you details of that. And what is happening in Imo State? If you think of Imo State, you also remember Kogi State. They have something in common. Bizarre governance taking place in those places. Of course, some of our listeners have written in asking us to confirm indeed whether it's true that the statute of the president of Liberia, outgoing President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is set to be unveiled, and we can tell you that the event is between today and tomorrow, another 520 million down the line. I was wondering if indeed the governor, having tried in the past to become president of Nigeria and was unsuccessful, is trying to, of course, have a feel of the presidency by having interactions and hosting presidents from other countries. Of course, this may not be the end of presidents coming to Imo State. We were told by his aides, some may follow. Adebayo Bodori is with me in the studio this morning.
Amishi, I think we watch out for what is happening in Imo. Maybe at the end of we call on an official of the state government the other day, and justify what they are doing. But let's see what play out when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf arrives tomorrow, and then we watch out what probably will also happen. But I see beautiful news, beautiful in the extent that. Pleasing to the ears from the villa yesterday, the president put a phone call through to the governor of Jigawa State, and he assured him that the outbreak of what has been described as strange disease, the federal government is showing interest, and he has directed the Minister of Health to immediately mobilize men and materials to the states to ensure that the death of children in that state is halted almost immediately. We raised this issue 3 days ago, and one of our listeners wrote in yesterday saying that we are trying to blame the APC government for it. What we actually raised on this program was that there is no strange disease in this new era with advancement in scientific discoveries and all the rest. There is no disease that you have that you cannot diagnose and probably find what is in the nature, its nature. And so we are happy that we raised this issue. We're happy that the president acted swiftly on it, and at least we save the lives of those children who are dying in tens and on preventable disease that they are currently facing. But there was a cheerless news from Plateau State yesterday. Gunmen again killed 11 people in the night on Tuesday night.
We don't know those that were returning from in market.
Yeah, we don't know when these killings on the plateau will end. It is really, really, really very, very sad. And the issue of EKITI State APC already, as at now, 20 people have already declared their interest to seek for the sole ticket of the APC, and the list is long, from the former governor Segun Oni to
we'll be reeling out in the list. We'll
and
give out
so long and all the rest. And if Fireme is joining, that means they will now be 21.
Well, no strange disease, like you said. If you ask the governor of Zamfara State, Yari, when it was a spinal meningitis that was killing people in his state, he felt it was a divine disease, not it's a strange disease now. He said it was a divine affliction because of the sinful ways of the people of the state, and the Almighty Allah decided to indeed pay them back with that disease. But good thing the president has moved to in fact get to the root of the matter, the scientific process of diagnosing and of course identifying the disease that would lead to sudden death of scores of children. Uju Eje is also in the studio.
Amici, we thank God that the president intervened promptly in this case, and following his directive, I believe that whatever be the cause of the strange disease, and whether indeed it's a strange disease, everything will be taken care of. Coming to Imo State, I honestly, I think that what is happening there is ridiculous. You're owing workers months and months of salaries, workers who have dependents. Some of them, their children cannot go to school. Some of them are dying even of sickness, of disease, because they cannot afford good Medicare. And all you can do is host presidents and erect statues with over 500 and something million, whatever for. That money can take care of a lot of the problems of those workers whose salaries have not been paid for months. I don't know whether he has advisors. I don't know where he gets his inspiration from. But I think that he should key to the right source and get the right kind of inspiration. After all, his pledge, his allegiance is to the people of Imo State, and he should take care of them. And then, Amici, I would like to correct something that I've been hearing. I hear reports on the budget that was presented 2 days ago, and they say, oh, it's the earliest. No, I recall that it is not the earliest.
In the life of this administration.
Well, some of them are not saying, some said since 1999. The earliest that I can remember often is in 2012, when the then president, Jonathan, was presenting the 2013 budget estimates. He did it in October. And before then, the MTEF, the medium-term expenditure framework, had already been considered and passed before even the presentation of that budget in October. I know that there have been earlier times, and that was when the nation kept strictly to the January to December fiscal year.
Well, what people are saying is that it's been the earliest in the life of this administration. The 2016 and 17 budgets came in December, so this one that came in November, of course, is the earliest. But November is still not early for me. It should come as early as
September.
Yes, September, based on, of course, after the MTEF has indeed been dealt with. But as we speak, of course, the MTEF for a submitter has not even been approved, which by law should be the process. I don't know why government is always struggling to obey the laws of the land and the rule it has set for itself. But let's hear from you. Let's share some of the mails we have picked from our email platform, political platform at yahoo.com. Thank you so much. We are seeing the phone numbers coming in. We are compiling them. And, of course, they will be acting on them very soon.
Busted.
They present the popular radio program, Political Platform, on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Welcome to the mail segment. I am Etenikang Akipu.
I am Sarti Yari.
And we begin with reactions to recent developments in Imo State. And Azu Chijioke from Lagos State has written in, he says, it was taken for fun when few years ago, Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha used humongous amounts of hungry people's money to erect the longest Christmas tree. Next were billboards of him shaking hands with Obama, littering the state. About 2 months ago, the cry was so loud in condemnation of Jacob Zuma's statue in the heart of Owerri, with over 520 million naira dying pensioners' money as claimed. Just when the heat failed to die down, I heard on news yesterday that Imo people will in few days' time witness another wasteful statue venture that will also gob so much out of the coffers of the government. A statue of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the outgoing president of Liberia, will be erected by the governor who prefers raising images to paying of salaries and pensions. Is the name now Statue State instead of Imo State? God forbid. He doesn't feel that infrastructure decay in the state should be addressed. As another governorship election lurks around the state, please choose right. Remove party, religion, or any sentiment to avoid a continuation of what is happening today. Too bad for Imo State.
Remaining in the southeast, Uchenna Stanley in Abuja says the Anambra governorship election this year is peculiar. If it were any other states, especially in the southeast, we would know by now who the winner of the governorship race will be. However, it is not so, as no one knows who will win the battle to the government house come November 18th. That is amazing, and I wish this will extend to other states, local governments, and even the presidential elections, where the sitting executive isn't guaranteed an express road to re-election. God bless Nigeria.
And IK from Lekki in Lagos State writes on the EFCC versus the DSS. He says, the face-off between the EFCC and the DSS concerning the 2.1 billion naira arm probe is worrisome. How could the DSS claim the EFCC has no right to subject its officials to any kind of questioning, when all the officials of the other agencies, according to the EFCC, have complied? Could there be a skeleton in the DSS's cupboard which they don't want Nigerians to see? Or could it be a case of some persons being above the law or being sacred cows? God bless Nigeria.
That's it on the mail segment today. Continue writing to us through political platform at yahoo.com.
Bust it!
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much. Of course, it's a marketplace of ideas. We continue to indeed share mails. It is the opinion of Nigerians, and it is their right to also be here. Just as, of course, we'll share every other mail that comes in, even those that are most critical of us, but of course that are within the confines of the law. Of course, criticism is what the media and indeed the citizenry should use to engage with the government to keep it on the right track. Sometimes, I remember even when the PDP was in power, some people were accused the platform of course, being too hard on that government. But we always tell them that the best way the media can support the government is to constructively criticize them. Of course, if they are doing on the wrong path, taking the wrong steps in the right direction, we have a responsibility to remind them. And if, like Ehedu would say, they are progressing in error, we also have a responsibility to also tell them what is happening. Dire supporters of governments will continue to shout that all is well, even when we know clearly that all is not well. And we believe that our responsibility is to help to draw the government back, because if you don't do that, absolute power, they say, corrupts. And of course, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts very absolutely. Now, moving ahead now, let's start from the Senate, where indeed the IG of Police, Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris, finally answered to the summons of the Senate committee that invited him to, of course, answer to some questions. He went in the company of his lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, David Izzi, and he refused to answer questions posed to him by the senators. He read out portions of the Senate rules to the senators, saying that indeed any matter that is already before the court of the law, the Senate should answer, asking the Senate to indeed respect the rules it made for itself. But the senators reminded the Inspector General of Police that the invitation to him had already gone out before he ran to court to seek for an injunction. Of course, it reminds me of what happened during the time of Babachi Lawa when the Senate committee indicted him, and the presidency responded by saying that he was not giving an opportunity to defend himself. And when he was reinvited again and given all the opportunities after the Senate had insisted that it had even extended all courtesies of invitation to him, he refused and ran to court to indeed stop that process. The Inspector General of Police has also gone to court to stop the process. It is a huge moral issue here, and one that will indeed attract a lot of comments.
But I think one has to commend him in the sense that he obeyed the law. The initial.
Do we need to clap for somebody that obeys the law of the land?
The whole thing is that initially we were thinking that he will insist on not going there, and we said we even joke on this program that whether we have to call the Boy Scouts to go and probably get hold of him and take him to National Assembly. It's a good thing that he did, but since the case is in court and is in conformity with the rule of the Senate, that is the issue he has raised. But I'm of the opinion that if I were him, I will answer the questions.
I think that what is happening, it's a kind of power play. If you look at the genesis of all of this, a man who heads a committee decided, or the committee decided to investigate an issue that involved the police. And, from there, mudslinging, you throw at me, I throw at you. And at the end of the day, here we are to the point that even the IG of police at one point in time, was saying, he would not appear before the Senate, knowing the law fully well and knowing that he needed to appear. But in all, I would like to suggest that the two institutions, find a meeting point and address those issues and settle whatever it is, so that they don't begin to drag themselves, into the mud. I do not think that it augurs well for governance in this nation. There's no way the police can do without the Senate. There's no way the Senate can do without the police. After all, it's policemen that guard their houses. So I think they should find a meeting ground.
No doubt, it's gone beyond the usual inquiry, ego issue here.
Tripping.
Of course, the two cases in court, one is instituted by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice against Senator Issa Misau, and another one, of course, this issue of libel that the IG of Police personally instituted against the senator himself. And of course, these are some of the issues that we indeed the Senate will need to consider. They have said they will look at the position of the IG and his lawyer with a view to indeed, of course, getting the appropriate responses giving out the appropriate responses at the right time. Of course, it is one thing that, of course, will attract a lot of attentions. Issues of laws. Yes, there's a rule of the Senate that says any matter before the court should not be entertained there. But what the senator said was that the IG rushed to court after the committee had been set up and he had been invited. Is he trying to evade inquiries? Is he shy of answering questions? Well, he has a right to indeed enforce his rights, his fundamental human rights, if he feels indeed is about to be violated.
And Amici, I also think that the allegations raised by Misau at that early stage are really, really weighty, and they are not things that the police should gloss over. I have seen advertorials by the police, trying to say that Misau is a deserter and all of this. Those are not the key issues. The key issues should be looked into. If the police must clear itself, it must clear itself in the proper way to convince Nigerians that, yes, it is innocent of those allegations.
Okay, let's take you to EKITI State now. Of course, the governorship election in that state is slated for July 14. That will come almost 7 months, 2018, 8 months after the Anambra governorship election. In less than 2 weeks' time now, that's November 19. And of course, the big names are already being thrown up. Many of them in the APC. Of course, the situation in the PDP appeared to have been settled with the choice.
Not quite.
With the choice of the deputy governor by, of course, a caucus of the party in the state, which is very controversial. Some other party members saying, no, we need to revisit that. But a lot of activities in the APC, and one man whose name has come up is Kayode Fayemi, former governor of the state and current minister of Solid Minerals. A newspaper this morning reported that he's ready to turn in his resignation. And we have on the line now, joining us, Yinka Oyebode. He is, of course, the media advisor to the Minister of Solid Minerals, Kayode Fayemi. Hello and thanks for joining us. What's the true situation? Your principal, is he about to drop his letter?
Well, like you pointed out, I read the report that you're referring to in this day of today. And I can tell you the report itself is speculative. So it's a product of the various speculation that is going on all over the place.
They said there's no smoke without fire. Can you categorically say that Kayode Fayemi will not be interested in the governorship election?
That is not the issue. The issue now, according to the report, is that he's ready to go and meet the president on that. I don't have that information. And when I read the report, they said an associate of the minister. And unfortunately, the report didn't mention the name of the associate. And I know I'm the official spokesperson of the minister, and I know I'm not aware of this particular position.
But
however, I can say that there have been various groups and individuals within and outside the party who have been clamoring for the minister to join the governorship race. They have been coming with representation. There have been various press conferences, both in the EKITI state, various parts of the state, and even in Lagos and Abuja, for him to join the race.
So how has he been reacting to those calls?
Naturally, he has taken them in his strides. He's taking them in his stride. It's a welcome development. Of course, naturally, you feel elated if people are looking at you as a prospective governor based on your performance, based on your track record. Many of them in their various clamoring will be referring to the good old days of the 4 years tenure of Dr. Kayode Fayemi in Ekiti State to say it was the good old days, it was a time where education was free, where medical service was free and qualitative, and where even every child has a laptop computer in Saudi school. And these are the glorious days where various industries, the comatose were brought to life, where the various schools were innovated.
You said he's been taking the overtures in his stride.
In his stride,
in his stride. Are those strides hastening to yield to those overtures?
Pardon?
Those strides that he said he's been taking it in his stride. Are those strides hastening to yield to the overtures?
What I mean is that when you get such responses, when you get such feedback, or even letters, some in the form of letters, some in the form of press conferences, you smile as an individual, but the decision is yours. I think at the appropriate time, having got to that level, at the appropriate time, the Honorable Minister will take the final decision based on his own conviction.
But as at now, there are so many.
But we haven't reached the point.
There are so many of his aides, his close associates, who have already declared their interest. You have Bim Bodaramola, a former member of House of Rep, who was the DG of his campaign organization in the last election. You have one of his commissioner. From one of his commissioners has also declared his interest, and there are so many others like that who are very, very close to him. Will he be contesting with them, or will there be consensus at the end of the day?
I don't have the information. I don't have the information on that. But what I know is that the party machinery will take care of that at the appropriate time. The party structure has a way of determining how the candidate is. That is not for me, and that's not for him to even determine. It is the party hierarchy that will determine that. As soon as the whistle is blown, the party will also put in place its own internal mechanism to determine the emergence of his candidates for the election.
Thank you so much, Yinka Oyebode. He's this media advisor to Governor Kayode Fayemi, current minister of Solid Minerals. No official confirmation, but from what he said,
exactly. I bet you can easily deduce that the man will run. It's even clear from his submission, because he said the party will determine at the right time, which means the man is running.
He said doors are being open, but we can tell you in Adamawa State, this PDP executive has opened its doors to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Of course, a new local government chairman of PDP were inaugurated yesterday, and we can tell you that the chairman of PDP in Adamawa State, Barrister Ait Shehu, told the former Vice President that there's no other option for him other than to come back to the party he helped to of course, put in place. So it appears the watering of the ground has commenced in Adamawa State. The next step you see or hear is about things happening in Abuja here. And before you could say Jack Robinson, the former vice president, who's noted for jumpology, like we call it here, may likely jump back to the PDP.
I don't know about the former vice president being a specialist in jumpology. I know that he moved from one party to the other, and now maybe he will come back to the PDP again. Of course, that remains to be seen. But I know that he's one man who's had a passion to be the president of this country, right from when he was vice president. I remember at the time, you know, he clashed with his principal then, the then president Olusegun Obasanjo, over this same issue. He has a strong passion to lead this country. He believes he has something to give that probably has not been given up before. And
this may be the last opportunity.
As vice, he really didn't have the opportunity since he wasn't the main person deciding what was happening.
But
well, like every other aspirant, he deserves to have the chance. And
there's this trend we have noticed in Nigeria's politics. Those that wanted, that desire to be president, never got it. Go right from history. Nobody had wanted it more than late Bafemi Awolowo. There's so many of them. Those that get it are those that never wanted it. For current president wanted it for 3 times on 3 different occasions. He couldn't get it. Then when he went into retirement and said, "I'm done with politics," was when he got it. It's one big development. There's a
possibility that somebody else who's been wanting it as badly as he did
may get it this time around. But maybe we'll promise you to give I will promise you a quick list of the big names in APC jostling for the candidacy of the party in the EKITI governorship election in 2018.
The list is long. Interestingly enough, you find some towns where you have 3 candidates coming from the same town, and the list is very long. Segun Oni, the former governor of the state, is in the race. Okoyemi Bamidele, who was one time commissioner in Lagos State and later a member of House of Rep. He also contested yes. The last time on the ticket of Labour Party, is in the race. Babafemi Ojudu is also being speculated to be interested. He's currently the presidential advisor on political matters. You have Bamidele Fakpa Rusi, who was a former member of House of Representatives. You have Kesan Fatoba. You have Dr. Wole Oluyide. That one is even based, he's a medical doctor based in Australia, and he's showing interest in the race. You have Kola Alabi. You have Bim Bodoramola, a former member of House of Rep, and the Director General of Fayemi Campaign Organization in the last election. He has already declared his interest.
And you have the Chief of Staff to the current Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps.
Yeah, you have Ronti Debo Ajayi. You have Muyiwa Koka. Senator Gbenga Aluko, the son of the notable economist, also in the race. And one interesting name that has just jumped on is Dr. Oluleye. You remember him when he was in charge of Petroleum Pricing Regulatory Agency. He retired as a PAMSEC, and we are thinking that he has got, but now he has declared his interest. He wants to be a governor.
So long list there for EKITI governorship election, July 14, 2018. But when we return tomorrow, we'll be focusing once again on Anambra State. The governorship elections is not far away. We'll be giving you updates. Thank you so much for being part of the program today. On behalf of my colleagues, my name is Ait Political Platform. Please do have a wonderful day.
Bust it.